Up next, it's a light heavyweight tilt between Jimi Manuwa and Jan Błachowicz.
Hey guys, my name's Connor from UK Gaming Bureau and welcome to our EA Sports UFC 3 simulation and prediction of Jimi Manuwa versus Jan Błachowicz. So this fight is actually a rematch for two fought back in 2015 I believe it was, or maybe 2014, and it was a unanimous decision win for Jimi Manuwa. Jimmy just tended to control him in the grappling department. There wasn't too much striking, but he just sort of out-grappled him, out-controlled him, and won a unanimous decision. So this is obviously the rematch as in the co-main event up in London this Saturday. So first of all, we're going to take a look at Jan Błachowicz. He's currently got a record of 21 wins, 7 losses. He's on a 2-fight win streak over Devin Clark by submission and Jared Cannonier by decision. Now Jan is a very interesting fighter. It's very hard to tell what his real strengths are, because it seems like each fight changes a little bit. When he came into the UFC, he looked like a pure out-and-out striker. He fought Ilir Latifi and beat him with a body kick, absolutely vicious. And then in his next 2 fights, he just got completely out-wrestled. And then in a few fights afterwards, he started wrestling people. He's very confusing, but to me, he's a striker who has good submission skills as well. He's very offensive, he's not too great on the defense. Some people say he can be the hammer, but he's not too great at being the nail. He's very offensive. I'm not saying that he's got a glass chin or anything like that. I don't even believe he's ever been knocked out or even knocked down. But he can get outpointed. He can get outgrappled. He does have some good power in his hands, and especially in his kicks. There is a very real submission threat if this hits the mat. I'm not too sure how he'll be if he's on his back, but if he's on top of you, he will be looking to land shots or he will be looking for a submission. Now let's take a look at Jimi Manuwa. He's coming into this fight with a record of 17 wins, 3 losses, and he is coming off of a KO loss to Volkan Ozdemir. That seems a bit mean to point out his losses straight away, but I am going to do it. Jimi Manuwa's lost 3 times to Alexander Gustafsson, Anthony Johnson and Volkan Ozdemir, and all 3 of those have been by knockout. I bring this up because look at that level of competition that he has lost to. Gustafsson fought for the title and is the #1 contender. Anthony Johnson has fought for the title twice and was a perennial #1 contender. Volkan Ozdemir has just recently fought for the title and was the #1 contender. He only loses to these guys that are at the very, very top of the food chain. And Jan is not at the top of the food chain yet. Maybe he could be, who knows. So before this fight, Jimi Manuwa was on a 2-fight KO streak over Ovin St. Preux and Corey Anderson, both of which came in England, which I do believe might be a bit of an X factor in this fight. Jimi Manuwa's style is very much just that of a kickboxer. He likes to throw hard, he likes to throw hands, he likes to throw feet. He doesn't grapple too much, except, funnily enough, for the first time he fought Jan Błachowicz back in Eastern Europe back in 2015. So we do know he does have some grappling skills, but we all know his bread and butter is his striking. So what we're going to do now is just have a look at how these two compare in some places. The first for me is going to be power, and I'm going to give that to Jimi Manuwa. Jimi Manuwa has a lot of walk-off knockouts over OSP, Corey Anderson. Both of those he just hit him with a big left hand and they slumped to the ground. He definitely has a lot more power than Jan, although Jan does hit very hard as well. Also still in the striking aspect, I believe technical striking edge would also go to Manuwa. He does look a bit sloppy sometimes, but he does throw some very clean combinations, whereas Jan does look to just try and hit you hard. When it comes to the grappling, so sort of the wrestling and working against the clinch, I'm going to give that quite dead even. Neither fighter is really known for it. Obviously when they fought the first time, Jimi Manuwa was a bit better at it. But recently, Jan Błachowicz lost to Patrick Cummins, who completely out-wrestled him. And since then, he's been showing a bit more grappling in his fights. Especially in his last fight, he was being very grappling heavy. So he's definitely improved his game since that loss. So I'm not sure Manuwa will really be able to control him. Then when it comes to a submission threat, I'm going to have to go with Jan Błachowicz there. I don't believe Manuwa has ever actually scored a submission win or even gone for a submission, especially not in the UFC, whereas Jan Błachowicz does have a few submission wins, and he does always look dangerous on the ground, whether it be of ground and pound or whether it be of submissions. So prediction for this fight, it's a tough one because I feel like both fighters could win. It's very much who turns up on the day and how they deal with things. But because of past performances, especially the last fight, I'm going to have to go for Jimi Manuwa win. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to finish him, purely because, as I said, Jan's never been knocked out, he's never been knocked down. I'm going to go for Jimi Manuwa decision. I think he's just going to piece him up, and I think maybe in the 3rd round he's going to try grapple him a bit more if Jan's coming on a bit heavy. So my prediction is a Jimi Manuwa unanimous decision victory. So on our EA Sports UFC 3 simulation of Jimi Manuwa versus Jan Błachowicz, we had a Jimi Manuwa win by by TKO in 2 minutes and 28 seconds of the second round.
And if you're planning on watching this fight, let us know in the comments below, either on YouTube, Facebook or Twitter, and let us know your prediction and we can see if anyone gets it right after the fight. And if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button below, and as always, to see more videos coming soon, please subscribe to the channel.